Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar with Cheesecake Labs, Clutch, and Resultados Digitais. Today, we will be talking about the future of product development, how to globally connect service providers. Welcome to today's We will be having a conversation about the IT development, digital marketing, and design B2B services in Brazil and Latin America. How companies can gain international visibility working with virtual teams, and how companies in Brazil and Latin America can expand to international markets. My name is Ricardo Real, and I'll be your moderator tonight. I'm an analyst here at Clutch, responsible for the Latin American research segment. And I would like to also briefly introduce you to our speakers this afternoon. They will introduce their organizations and roles as well. Victor Oliveira from Cheesecake Labs, Bruno Ghisi from Resultados Digitais, RD, and Alexa Rosenstein here at Clutch. Victor?
All right, so Cheesecake Labs is a mobile and web development and design company, and we usually work with other companies and partners in California, in the US, and Europe. And we founded Cheesecake 3.5 years ago, and we've grew from 4 to 45 collaborators in these past 3 years. And I have a background living in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. I was Uber's 5th engineer at the time. So that old school gang was pretty small by then. And we've been working with Clutch for a long time now, with RD Station as well. So I'm very, very happy to be here. Hello, Fabricio, Ricardo, Bruno, and Alexa, and thank you for being here.
Hey, Bruno?
Yeah, I'm Bruno. I'm co-founder and CTO of RD. We have a product called RD Station that's a market automation platform, and we are leading in Brazil and Latam. What we do is to bring all these marketing, digital marketing verticals like email marketing, landing pages, automation, analytics, and put inside in a single all-in-one product to bring to make an easy integration and bring data that they can't do without this kind of platform. And we have near over 8,000 customers. We are growing pretty fast right now. And our team is 500 people here in the south of Brazil, on an island called Florianópolis. We also have offices in São Paulo, and we have a small office starting in San Francisco as well. We host an annual conference here in Brazil for 8,000 customers called RD Summit, and we bring all the market customers, agencies, and all discuss about sales, marketing, and everything that is related to SMBs.
Great. Alexa?
Yes, so I am a colleague of Ricardo's here at Clutch. Clutch is a startup that was founded in 2012. We are located in Washington, D.C., and we have had a lot of growth over the past couple of years. What we do, we are a B2B ratings and reviews platform for companies in the tech services industry. So we primarily focus on people in the development, mobile app and web space, design agencies, so creative, marketing, other types of digital agencies as well. And we are constantly trying to expand into new service categories. We are also, Ricardo and I are part of our global strategy team. That team is focused on expanding Clutch's coverage of service providers all around the world. So Ricardo is the lead on our Latin American coverage, and I'm working on some Western European countries, but that's pretty much the basics of Clutch. We're excited to be a part of this webinar.
Awesome.
A recorded YouTube link of this webinar is going to be available for everyone, and you may type any questions that may arise in the chat section below, and we will do our best to answer all of them at the end. So let's start our conversation with Victor from Cheesecake Labs. Victor, can you tell us a little bit about what does the IT development, marketing, and design services sector or space looks like in Brazil?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, I'm very excited about discussing and brainstorming this issue, because I think it's such a core variable in the future of companies and in the present of companies, right? Big software companies realize that you can't have all your professionals in a single country because there just isn't enough professionals in any country in the world, right? So I'm very excited about this. Mark Zuckerberg just mentioned at Harvard, I think this week, that one of the main words that millennials are using to describe themselves is global citizens. So I think this is already a pretty strong concept for younger people, and I think for these visionary entrepreneurs. So I'm very excited about this. Thank you guys for helping with all that. And when it comes to Brazil, I think Brazil has a really great community of developers. So, for instance, we've created some development languages here. Elixir is a great example. It's a trending library created by José, which is also one of the core developers at Rails, which is the biggest framework for Ruby. Lua was also created here, which is a script language for gaming. And we also have a pretty strong Python community, Java community, and Ruby as well. So we have these amazing professionals that are very, very competent. And I've worked with like the early guys at Uber. So in my opinion, I've managed to get a hold of some pretty smart people. And the Brazilian developers are in the same level. And I'm very happy to be working with so many amazing people here in Brazil. And together with that, together with this great community of developers, we also have an old school company culture. So companies usually have an older school workflow. And in my opinion, this happens because of two items. I would say the first item it's how complex it is to create a legal structure for stock options in Brazil. And this is a big issue here at Cheesecake. I think we had to hire like I think 6 or 7 teams of lawyers just to figure out like what we had at Uber, so we could copy it here. And usually companies that are getting started, they don't have the budget or the money to invest in this if this isn't a core value for them. So I think that creates like an older school perspective in terms of companies, as well as we have an economic situation in which the inflation is pretty high. So in 2015, we had a 10% inflation ratio, and in 2016 it was 7. So investors are pretty risk averse because they can just leave their money in the bank and they'll get like 11, 12%. So the company needs to look really good for them to want to put the money in there. And once they do that, they usually have like a pretty not flexible clause of what they expect in return. So founders and directors usually don't have lots of flexibility into making decisions because the legal structure is pretty tight, it's pretty not flexible, and investors have so much control because the risk is so complicated in their perspective, in economic perspective. And in comparison with the Bay Area, this is such a big contrast because by that situation, this means that the Brazilian environment has amazing developers, amazing designers, marketeers, amazing professionals that usually have a hard time finding a good company to work at. And in the Bay Area or in the US, for instance, we have amazing companies that have such a good environment to work at, so many good ideas, but it's so complicated to find good developers because everyone needs them these days, right? So I think this big difference between the Brazilian scenario and the US scenario, it's a big opportunity for having a positive impact because this gap in connecting these people is a bad thing for both sides because the good companies that are ready to innovate, they can't find good people, and the good people that just want to create something amazing, they can't find a company to do so. So I think it's such a nice opportunity that it's being presented in this situation. And I really think it's a win-win situation that can make the world more connected and also to reduce inequalities globally.
Awesome, Victor. Thank you so much for that. And Bruno, how competitive is the digital marketing market in Brazil, in your opinion?
Yeah, great question. When we started in 2011, like it was pretty difficult actually to pitch our company. We used to say the term inbound market, but nobody could actually understand. So the market changed to market automation, but at that time we tried to explain what we do, like how we do social and we do email marketing. We try to fix your digital marketing strategy. And I think since that, the early stage, like the market evolved a lot. We put a lot of efforts on education, so we do a lot of blog posts, webinars, co-marketing, conferences. So I think the market's changed a lot for better. And I think still there's a room for growing this education. But we actually have international competitors coming to Brazil, so it's a huge market. And a lot of other national competitors or kind of specialized verticals are also appeared, and that's good at first. So I think we can share this education budget so we can educate more people, and I think it evolved a lot. So at the time we started, the agency used to do like branding, and I would take care of your social. Now they talk about ROI, they talk about payback, they can deal with data. So I think they are changing that. That helped a lot of SMBs to start growing as well, because it's another way of doing digital market, and new agencies are seeing that they can help in these SMB spaces, and other companies are actually using this market automation to grow their business. So I think at this time the market is pretty good, it's growing. Like we are happy. We have a lot of other companies that are doing services that didn't exist in the past. So I think it's evolving. Yeah, not compared as US, but I think we are in the right path.
Great. Is it to gain international visibility as a Brazilian firm? How are clients finding tech firms like yours to partner with in Brazil and in other countries in the region?
Okay, I'll get started on this one. I think a great answer to this question is our story, because we had to go through so many steps to figure out how to get connected in a more scalable way with American companies, with companies from Europe. And it all started with us trying to figure out what marketing was, because we're all developers, so we're all engineers. And at some time, we've realized we can't only make sales based on our contacts and our friends. We need to scale this somehow. And that's how we got started working with RD Station. And the RD team was very helpful and helped us searching for the distribution ways to reach the personas that we were trying to reach. And first of all, understanding who were those personas and which keywords were they using. And once that was done, figuring out these distribution channels. So I think we were very lucky to meet Bruno and all the great guys at RD, because with their ideas, we better understood where to look. And after, like, I would say 3-4 months with an extensive research, we figured out that there was this great directory out there based in Washington. I'm guessing you guys know what I'm talking about. We found Clutch, and it was a big game changer for the growth at Cheesecake from that moment forward. because first of all, we've just created our profile and started gathering reviews from our partners. And after that, we started receiving lots of leads. And for us, it wasn't clear why Clutch was like so different from the other directories. And with some time, we've started learning more about the platform. But I would say that we were very lucky because usually Brazilian companies don't have these thoughts so well aligned, or don't have people to help them get connected with the right company or with the right directory. So I'm really happy that we're sharing these thoughts here, so more Brazilian entrepreneurs can get connected and can better understand marketing, because this was a big game changer for Cheesecake. And since this effort makes the world a better place for both sides, reducing inequalities, I think it's a very legit, it's a very nice topic to discuss. But I'll leave some time for Bruno to give his thoughts on this, because I think you probably have more knowledge on this than I do. Bruno?
Thank you. I try to add on your point, but I think just to bring some context, I think Brazilian companies, they mainly create business for Brazil. I think that's one of the points. We don't have a huge Brazilian company worldwide, like a SaaS company or something like that, because Brazil is huge. So a lot of companies just focus on Brazil, and I think that's a mistake. And we started with this strategy as well, but we are changing to expand to Latam. So in the beginning was quite hard, but in the a couple of years after we started, we get funded by Redpoint. That's Silicon Valley venture, and also last year we were funded by TPG, which is a late stage venture in the Bay Area as well. So I think after that we start to get more known about what we are doing here, and it's pretty funny because we are focused on Brazil, but we had a couple of customers using RD Station worldwide, like in very uncommon countries, and they were using like the Google translation. At that time, we didn't have just had a software in Portuguese like last year, and we put efforts to localize to Spanish and English, but they were using our product with Google Translation. That was a good sign. So we saw that and thought that could be interesting to start to expand, not losing focus on Brazil. It's our biggest market, but we start to structure the company to expand to other countries. And we are now producing content on Spanish, mainly for Latam, but we have plans to expand to other areas. I think that because of our economy is like, we have a lot of problems, as you guys know, like politics and economics here is kind of crazy in the last years. Our product is usually 10x less from US competitors. And that's a kind of leverage for other economies that have a similar, that are similar. So we are using that as well to expand. So yeah, that's yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, and this next question is for Alexa. Alexa, what role does a platform like Clutch play in helping Brazilian firms gain international exposure and finding clients abroad to grow their nearshoring development business?
Sure. So at a high level, obviously, Clutch's goal is to connect buyers with sellers. So we are a ratings and reviews platform. We connect leading service providers in the tech development, marketing, and design spaces. And we are obviously a US-based company. So right now, a majority of our content is from the US, But our whole goal with this global strategy is to expand that coverage and not only connect US buyers with vendors from other countries, but also become a useful tool for buyers and sellers within the same country. So that kind of is what sparked our interest in expanding our coverage. And as you, Bruno and Victor, have both mentioned, it's hard to identify a good tech development, marketing, or design firm that you are not able to meet with face-to-face or speak to over the phone. And there obviously is a growing market for nearshoring projects, and we want to capitalize on that and make that facilitating those connections easier. We want to provide more in-depth reviews, more comprehensive coverage of companies so that people who aren't able to meet and have these in-person connections can visit Clutch, look at a company's profile, and understand their capabilities, the projects they've worked on in the past, their client demographic, the industries they're most familiar with, etc. So our goal to connect companies at a high level is the same goal that we want to bring to this global strategy, more specifically Brazil and greater Latin America. And our whole, what we feel is our kind of bread and butter that really distinguishes us from other websites that are similar to Clutch are these in-depth client reviews that we conduct over the phone. And we think of these as case studies that companies are able to use, again, to convey their expertise and past work to potential buyers through Clutch, as just an extra tool to kind of help spread the word and help convey, again, their past experience and expertise.
Yep. And in this same effort, Clutch continues to grow and deepen its content, and featuring international tech marketing design firms in countries of Latin America, like Brazil. We are prioritizing the expansion into these countries like Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Mexico, Colombia, countries in Latin America with a more developed tech sector. And we believe that these firms that we found in the region are excellent, and we want to invite even more firms that offer these types of services to be part of our platform. And we have already spoken to many of their clients that are based not only in Latin America, but also in the US and Europe, and have had great things to say about the collaborations with them. So we would like to see more of that on Clutch and in other platforms as well. So Alexa, what is the importance of client reviews to a potential customer reading your profile and a company profile? And what other criteria is taken into account when evaluating a firm's work quality?
Yeah. So I would say these client reviews, as I mentioned, which are conducted over the phone, they're typically 15 to 20 minutes. We really try to capture all the detail that a client can provide about the project and get their objective feedback. So these client reviews are the most important aspect of a company's profile. Companies on their profile are able to indicate areas of expertise, the services they offer, locations, summaries, portfolio items, which are visual case studies. But the real important part of the profile are these reviews, because potential buyers can come in and see what your past clients have to say about you, what they feel your strengths and areas for improvement might be, what sorts of capabilities you have, what your working style is. We really try to capture the essence of how companies interact with their clients during these projects over our phone interviews. So in addition to these client reviews, we also try to capture a holistic view of the company by taking a look at what we call a market presence, which really takes into account what is your presence online? Do you have a fairly wide network? Do you have any accolades or awards? Do you have connections with other leaders in the industry? Are you a leader in the industry? Stuff kind of around just how you present yourself and how active you are in the community. We also look at your clients and experience. So part of that are these reviews that I mentioned. The other part is what is, again, displayed maybe on your website or on the internet about the people that you've worked with, the technical complexity of the projects that you have completed, the types of clients that you work with. And then we also take a look at what we find to be the most important aspects of your company. So we try to look at how you portray yourself. Again, are you a thought leader yourself? Are there any maybe like negative reviews of your company online? So we really try and take a look around to find, again, this holistic kind of image of a company in order to portray a truly objective profile and information to potential buyers so that they can make truly well-informed decisions.
Okay. And what do you think are some of the other benefits that a platform like Clutch can provide to firms that actively engage with it?
Sure. So in addition to having these client reviews on your profile, the profile itself can really be used as a reputation management tool. So you're able to control the content on your profile aside from the reviews. So you can really convey to buyers exactly what you want to convey to them. And the client reviews themselves, we have found a lot of companies are able to save their past clients time. Instead of conducting reference calls and asking for them to speak with potential buyers, companies can simply direct potential buyers to their Clutch profile and ask them to read through these in-depth reviews, which are close to an equivalent of speaking to someone over the phone. So in addition to having that online presence in a profile, we also have a growing marketing team who is constantly looking for ways to expand our brand and coverage of companies, again, all over the world. So what we do is periodically we publish press releases to highlight the leaders in our categories all across the site. That gives a chance to highlight the leading companies that provide these services and gives them a little bit of a marketing bump from us, I guess. We also have expert interviews, so we conduct with thought leaders in the industry. Leading companies on the site are able to speak with us and give us reviews on some of the tools that they use. That again is another piece of content that we can kind of share between the two parties and publicize. And then kind of going along with that, we have recently launched a contributed content program. So that's just a way for us to continue getting insights and perspectives from people in the industry and from these companies that we interact with all of the time that are truly experts and have really unique perspectives and really unique experiences in the industry. We are trying to reach out and leverage that network so that we can have these thought leadership pieces of content on our site and also broadcasted on other sites and published on our social media channels. And so we're doing our best to kind of expose the leaders in the industry through our marketing channels. And we want to help companies and let them know that we are here to help them spread the word about their capabilities and their experiences.
We're also exploring some other forms of media like videos, like this webinar to promote great firms in their own countries in various research categories. And Clutch has proven to be a really great reputation management and marketing tool for firms around the world. Many prospective clients find firms through our platform and close deals for new projects. And I also wanted to ask Victor and Bruno, what are you looking for from a platform like Clutch? And if you have any other suggestions on how we can be more useful to other firms in Brazil and Latin America.
Oh, there you go. So it's such an amazing experience after being connected with so many companies. I receive a lead from Clutch nowadays because it seems like part of that barrier is broken. That difficulty in reaching for someone and connecting with that person. So I think it's pretty amazing to have this review content being a core idea of the platform. And together with this, I think that having tools like RD Station to better connect this content that you use and distribute with different channels. I think it's such an amazing experience. It's like two big engines that will that helped us grow so much here at Cheesecake, comparing to the previous period with just an organic, more slower rhythm. So I'm really excited about this. I do agree that video and having this more visual aspect is even more intimate, more personal, and it's all about getting personal with the company fast, because you can always call all the references for all companies in all areas, but if it's all right there and you can see in like 5 minutes and understand all that, I think video is also a great way to get connected. And I think this is such a core topic for the future of the world. We'll need to figure out how to get connected and work together in projects remotely. And that's a big part of the Cheesecake mission, is to think and to create a workflow that is productive for both sides. So that's something that we're very engaged with. And we do that with multiple ways, with having an agile workflow, with having collaborators with stock options, so they're very engaged with the process, using the best technologies and having a code review process. So I'm very excited that our missions complete each other so well, and that this is such a big and important step for all the companies in the world, because in the future we'll need to figure out how to be global citizens and work together with global companies, and by that creating a new level of innovation in the world.
I think it's pretty valuable from the perspective as a customer. If you consider the marketing funnel, like after you discover you have a problem or opportunity, a platform like Clutch is good to really understand what customers are saying about it, and the feedbacks, and you can do a quick analyze about what are the pain points or the main issues, or what's the whole context. We usually do that. Like, we have an internal analysis, but we use tools like Clutch to understand if our decision is the right one. But I think we also have other advantages from other perspectives. Like, you can, if you are part of the content, you can understand your customers' feedback. You can use tools like that to know how you are doing, and also if you are doing expansion, like we are talking earlier, that could be an interesting channel to. If you're going to another account, that could be an interesting channel if you don't have an audience. So you can use that. You can do a strategy to be well positioned, to understand what are the pain points, to fix that, and being a leader quadrant. So I think it's pretty necessary and valuable for the companies.
Okay, great. And what are some of your thoughts on how this international connection process will evolve or should evolve in the future?
I think we will look for platforms like that to as a channel to grow. So we can we can keep being good position, and we can use as a channel to people know about our company when they are reviewing, for example, market automation. So I think it definitely can help to go to other places. So we have a lot of strategies to expand to other countries, but definitely tools like that, they are a good channel for that. So I think is very good.
Okay, Victor?
All right. As I mentioned earlier, I think this problem of connecting people globally and the barrier that we have between countries, that is such a terrible thing for everyone, is going to become a bigger and bigger issue for companies that are doing marketing and are trying to reach other spaces or companies that are hiring. So I believe that this topic will grow, and it's already essential for big companies and to better understand how to distribute their work. But I think this will become a topic for all organizations to think about and to understand how to find a good connection and also a workflow that fits their expectation and it's agile enough to have continuous progress and innovation and ideas to create great products and also to create this community, this global community of companies that is building the next generation of products and innovation from software to hardware in all industries. I think that's it.
Okay, Alexa?
Sure. So yes, to mirror what both Victor and Bruno said, it is unnecessarily difficult at this point for people to connect across countries and across time zones. And again, that's what Clutch wants to kind of step in and facilitate. We think it should be easier for parties to connect with one another. And there is such talent all over the world. And just the fact that there's no platform for people to connect should not be an impediment to creating great projects together. So that's where we want to step in. Some other ideas that we have kind of tossed around across the company are exploring other ways to differentiate what companies, their capabilities. So some certifications, maybe with Google certified partners, or there are obviously local certifications that apply specifically to certain countries. That's something that we want to explore. Again, we want to become a local resource for people who want to connect with vendors in their own countries, but also, again, providing connections for nearshoring opportunities, offshoring opportunities, and collaborations across countries and multiple vendors. So we, again, want to expand our coverage, continue helping to facilitate these connections and exploring new media. So again, these webinars, having phone calls to understand. I know that we actually spoke with Victor a few months ago when we launched our global strategy because we wanted some insight into the Brazilian market and what would be a great way for us to enter. What sort of message should we convey? How do we communicate with people who might not be receptive to English speakers coming from a random company in the US? So it was super helpful, and it's these partnerships and these connections that really allow us to expand. And we, again, I think that Victor has mentioned this, but we kind of want to be a mutually beneficial platform for companies looking for buyers, and then also to publicize companies like Cheesecake that may not have had the means to market themselves as widely when they were just beginning. So it's very exciting to see the impact that we've been able to have on companies like Cheesecake, and we want, again, to continue getting insights from companies, again, like Cheesecake, who are experts in their field, and we want to keep continuing to connect people. So it's a very exciting time.
This is why we'll continue to research new companies in Brazil and the rest of Latin America. We invite current firms in app development, web design, digital agencies to connect with us. And to more buyers globally, so they can see the benefits of using our platform as well. And we can move forward to a short Q&A session if there are any questions. There are no questions. I think there are no questions currently. So I guess I will thank our awesome audience and our great presenters for all the great insights on the topic of the future of product development and how to globally connect service providers, and for allowing us to learn more about the IT development, marketing, and design space in Brazil. And we'll make sure to answer any other questions that may arise directly. And thanks so much for joining us, and make sure to check out our websites at Cheesecake Labs, RD, and Clutch.co, where you'll be able to find different resources, tools to learn more about this topic. And this will help your company succeed in the space. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we look forward to future conversations with you all. Thank you. Obrigado.
Thank you. was great talking to you guys. Now, if you search for mobile development or anything, Clutch is already the Google's truth about what a company looks like. So we're so glad to have this amazing relationship together, and with RD as well, the great impact that you guys are having. So thank you very much to all of you, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the audience. Congrats for the work you guys have been doing, and thank you so much.